But I think Aaron's gonna ask you a few questions so you can give our viewers some insight to how hard you work and you hustle. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Carl, it's been fantastic watching your congressional district grow over the years. You've been a Ron Paul supporter and a delegate, if I'm correct, in 2008. Is that correct?
No, I was a big time supporter. I did a lot of events out here in the 10th Congressional in 2007, 2008, but I wasn't a delegate, and I regretted doing that in 2007. So I became a delegate here in 2012 or 2011, 2012 for the Ron Paul campaign. And I've done a lot more coordinating now of out here in the northwest suburbs and Lake County.
So how are
But
things
it's
how are things looking right now in terms of, when you were following, you were supporting him in 2007. Have you seen much growth in your given area now this election time around?
Oh, I see tremendous growth. I see, before it was, who was Ron Paul, but now everybody I know or talk to, they do recognize the name. A lot of things I get is I like Ron Paul. I like him on his domestic issues. I like him on monetary issues and stuff like that. I do get a lot of still people having issues with foreign policy and stuff like that. But it's been great. A lot more support this time around. Definitely a lot more faces. Still a lot of the same faces from the last campaign, but tremendous amount of people. We had an event out here in Arlington Heights. We had approximately 40 people show up. On a Friday night over here in Arlington Heights on Rand and Palatine, and 40 people showed up of all different ages and types. It was wonderful. It was just wonderful. I knew no matter what event I throw, there was going to be Ron Paul folks there, and they came out, and I had great conversations with people. I loved it last night.
Now, Carl, does your congressional district, is it more Democratic or Republican prone?
We're more Republican out here in the northwest suburbs. We really have one township, Wheeling Township here, that's a very strong Republican base. We have a great organization out here, the Wheeling Township Republican Party, and they have been welcoming the Ron Paul folks here to help out in local and state campaign issues.
Great. Now, with some of our viewers, our Republican-based viewers that are in the same situation as you, that have a little more Republican base in their congressional district, what advice can you give them to start to deviate, oftentimes the GOP base into, considering Ron Paul's foreign policy more as opposed to, what's espoused by the other GOP candidates?
Well, I always like when people bring up the foreign policy issue. I always try to listen to them very attentively. See what their main concerns are. Then try to bring in what Ron Paul has done in the past. But I really, most part, I try to find commonality. When I'm talking to people, sometimes when it's funny, people can start getting very emotional about an issue with the candidate with you, and they can go in attack mode to you. So I listen to them, and then I try to find some commonality with them, especially on state and local issues. I let them know I've been involved with the township party since 2007, and then I talk about the issues that are more important to me. And my one big question when you talk to people, you know, for me, I support Ron Paul about monetary policy, about inflation. And I ask everybody, do you agree with me? Do you see that when you go to the store every week, the prices on the food items, the things that you need to live are going up? And 99.9% of the people I talk to agree with me. And then from that agreement, I just try to build more commonality and let them know why I support Ron Paul. And most people, I think in general today, they support Ron Paul on a lot of issues. It's just trying to find out what's their big issue of the day.
Now, it seems like in Illinois that there's a stronghold, or there's, a lot of the GOP party in Illinois is very mitt-leaning. It's very establishment, very mitt-leaning. Do you see that as being problematic at all in your congressional district, or do you see things transitioning in other directions?
There is a lot of establishment Republicans that do support Mitt Romney, but I also think there's a bigger majority that don't support Mitt Romney. I know there's a lot of support out here for Santorum. There's a lot of support for Newt. There's also a lot of support for Ron Paul too.
I know.
Everybody I talk to, I usually ask them, "What's your top two or top three presidential candidates?" And Yeah, if they say Newt or Santorum, Romney's not there. Paul's in the mix.
Okay. Now, I know that you've thought of some very creative events and stuff to kind of get out the vote or get out the energy, the Ron Paul energy, and kind of make a presence. I know one that I think if I'm not mistaken, is that you're involving your campaigning, your groups of Ron Paul supporters in the upcoming St. Patrick's Day Parade. What other advice or ideas can you give to other grassroots Ron Paul supporters that want to think of something creative to kind of get the vote out, but not necessarily the standard knock, go door to door?
I will say, we get a lot of Ron Paul support. There's a lot of new people to politics, and they get scared about knocking on doors and that's such the old establishment way. What I tell them to do is, talk to your friends, your family, your neighbors, people that you talk to, remind them to vote and get out the vote that way. Also, like I wear my Ron Paul shirt or I wear a Ron Paul pin on my coat. And I have Ron Paul bumper stickers on my car, and every day pretty much I get somebody that stops or honks or some way he wants to talk to me about Ron Paul, and then I do some education there, remind them to come out to vote, and vote for Ron Paul, his delegates and alternates here in Illinois. Yeah, we're going to be doing the St. Patty's Day Parade. We got invited to that through Kevin O'Connell, and we're going to take advantage of that. Also, going to any kind of town hall meetings or town hall events or any events where there's a lot of people where you could show your support. And I go to things with my pin, and people want to talk to me about Ron Paul. They want to either find out more or they're a supporter and they don't know what to do or how to go, in supporting the candidate before the primary.
Well, Carl, you've done such a good job. And, I know in Illinois, and for the viewers that don't know, in Illinois, the delegates, and Carl's running as a delegate, they have to get the vote out for themselves to win as a delegate. And Carl's been doing such a great job. Carl, I can't thank you enough, and I don't want to keep you long enough because I know that you got to go out and get the vote out for Ron Paul and for yourself. So I'll let you go, and thank you so much for your time and some insight.
Hey, thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.